All right, hey Ronnie,
Hey,
thanks for joining me.
no worries. Glad to be here, Case.
Yeah, so obviously I asked you here today because you're very experienced in the dance for community. First off, I wanted to just start out by asking you, what was your beginning interest in dance?
So my beginning interest started way back in the day when I was a kid. I was always very athletic, and I did a lot of sports growing up. I did martial arts as well, so I have a lot of like that physical activity as a background. But I was also very creative, and I loved doing art related things. I love drawing. I love doing silly things. Like I love being on stage and doing theater. So when I first saw people dancing that I knew, these were people that were back in the day in my church and whatnot. I looked at them and I'm just like, that's so cool. I
Yeah.
want to do the same thing. So when I saw that, that was my first exposure. And when I then got into school and I saw in high school particularly, there was a group of guys that were doing the same thing. I was like, hey, I could do that too. And that kind of fueled that passion for dancing. And from then and there, I just started learning with, other people and started learning on my own. And just kept on growing as a dancer.
Yeah, that's awesome. I would say I kind of had a similar experience a little bit because I first found out about the dance. Like, I've always kind of been interested in dance. I like ballet a lot growing up.
Yeah.
But I kind of got more interested in dancing when I happened upon a Barton Fox video of like a dance comp.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I started watching that. I was like, oh my god, this looks awesome. This looks fun and amazing. And then I started talking to dancers, and everybody was really awesome. And I was like, I totally want to do this and join up. And then I got my suit. And yeah, it's been the dance for community is definitely what drew me into the whole fandom in general. And
Yeah, glad to
loved
hear
it.
that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what we're all about. The Dancing for Community is all about just promoting that same kindred spirit where we're all in this because we love the art form. We love just sharing ideas and sharing creativity, and we love seeing, how we express ourselves because dance obviously is very expressive. Dance is the story of life as told through, our bodies. And to see other people being able to share their stories and share their creativity, it's an awesome feeling,
Yeah.
to know that there's so many talented and creative people out there.
I don't think I could have said that better.
Yeah, well, happy to have you. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the first furry dance event that you went to?
So the first dance competition that I'd ever done was at AnthroCon 2010. Back then, I actually had a Ronnie costume. So I had a partial that was made for me that was of my original character, Ronnie the Dragon, and I wasn't even planning on doing the dance competition because I didn't even know there was a dance competition.
Yeah.
I just knew how to dance, and I think maybe a couple people that knew that I knew how to dance, they were like, "Hey, Ronnie, you should totally get in on this dance competition," and I was like, no, like, what are we talking about? I haven't even prepared. And they literally dragged me, like, kicking and screaming into the preliminary room for the dance competition. Like, this was back in the day when dance competitions couldn't even, like, pack half of the list that it does now. You see, right now, dance competitions have from anywhere between 20 to 25 dancers, during the finals.
Right.
This was when we could barely get, 15 dancers. So it was definitely a different kind of feeling back in the day where dance competition was not necessarily a competition, it was more like a showcase, but at the same time I think that helped to provide that nice entry level like experience, especially for people that have never danced on stage before, where you don't have that pressure of, oh, it's a competition, I got to be better than this person or that person. And that first experience for me is what I try to like take forward into any dance competition that not only I enter, but also competitions that I also organize as well.
Yeah, totally. And one thing in particular I wanted to ask you about is I know you help run a dance crew, and can you tell me a little bit about what that's like?
Yeah, so Last for One is the dance crew that myself, Atsu, and Mosey Fox all founded together back in 2011. So we basically came together at AnthroCon 2011, and we all basically said the same thing. We said it'd be really cool if we could put together a team that could help to uplift the dance community and just do cool things together. Like we had a lot of ideas, like running events and battling together and doing crew showcases together and all that kind of stuff. Some which worked and some that didn't really pan out. But back then we were just a bunch of kids, quite literally, that said, "Yeah, this is so cool. Like we should definitely do this." And we found other dancers that were on the same that the same spectrum in terms of they wanted to do something for the community and they wanted to give back and get involved in this team effort. So Last for One grew from those original 3 members and then grew into a roster of 9 members. And of those 9 members right now, we still have nearly all of them that are still active and dancing in the fandom. So there's definitely a lot of history with Last for One. That we started the very first floors in the fandom, which is something that not a lot of people know about, back in 2012 at Anthrocon.
Yeah.
And then MFF 2012 was the first time that MFF had seen Floor Wars. And every single year it just grew bigger and better, and the team kept on coming together to put on events. And then we expanded to FWA as well. So FWA had their Floor Wars, and now it's become one of the staples in the fandom. And it's put on by the same team that back in the day we just said we wanted to do something cool for the fandom.
So where did that idea for the Floor Wars come to bring that to the FurryCons?
So for me, I'm actually a former competitive breakdancer. So me as a b-boy back in the day, I would go out to competitions all the time around my city, even a little farther away from where I live, and I'd be involved in battling. And I thought to myself, there's so much adrenaline rush and so much fun when it came to battling that I think everyone should experience it. Whether you're a competitor or whether you're an audience member, everyone gets in on the action. It's so engaging, whereas on a dance competition, you've got a dancer that's up on the stage or on the floor, they're dancing, and the crowd kind of just, feeds off of whatever energy they're putting out. But in a dance battle, that energy is amplified by 10 times.
Yeah.
So when I felt that while I was battling myself, I was thinking to myself, why don't we have the same thing in furry fandom? And back in the day, we did have a couple of similar events. So Further Confusion had a dance battle back in the day that was not run the same as Floor Wars, but it was kind of a similar concept where dancers would go head to head. But Floor Wars really brought the quality up in terms of the formats that we provided, the music selection, the overall performance, having a good battle format and good MCs and good dancers, and I think it just came at the perfect time when the dance community was really evolving the fandom.
Yeah, that's really interesting. There's also some cons now that are doing the lip sync battle. Have you heard about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Funny enough, my wife Minty, she entered one of those by chance, and she actually ended up getting first place, and it was definitely
Nice.
now she's kind of interested in doing some more dance competition stuff. And I also like the evolution of the lip sync battle. It's kind of almost more like a friendlier Floor Wars.
Yeah, for sure. So lip sync battles and other battles like Iron Artists, I think there is that element of competition which is healthy in terms of getting people to be more engaged and to really challenge themselves to do better, and especially in that live environment where all eyes are on you and you gotta perform, you gotta do your best. That just makes it so much more exciting because you never know what could happen, right?
Yeah.
So the stakes are always high and the energy is always high and people are always tuned in because you don't want to miss a thing. You might miss out on something really amazing that happens in those events. So things like lip sync battle and Floor Wars and all that, it's just it kind of has that common theme of that excitement of not knowing what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. When I was talking to Strobes before, he was kind of talking about that he kind of likes Floor Wars because it's kind of, I don't know, not quite I guess it would almost be, it would wrong to say it's, or different to say it's the pure form of dance, but just kind of it's more emotion driven, I guess, kind of.
Yeah,
doing
absolutely.
Floor Wars.
Yeah, for sure. And Floor Wars, you barely have time to think, right? You got to go. There's no, stepping back and saying, hey, DJ, pause the music. I got to listen to this and try and figure something out. No, you got to go. When you got to go, you got to go. So, it's just, it's a matter of, when you get into that moment in the heat of the battle, you have to be ready to not only represent yourself, but you also got to take who you are, your dance, your personality, and you got to apply it to something that you might not be familiar with, right?
Yeah.
Because Floor Wars, you don't know if you're gonna get hip hop, you don't know if you're gonna get dubstep, you don't know if you're gonna get electro, you don't know what you're gonna get, right? So the whole idea of a dance battle where you really have to be good at thinking on the spot and responding to the moment, that's what helps builds up that energy. Because when people do that well, you see guys like Strobes, you see guys like Yuki, you see guys like Flitch, and they always go out and they're always ready to respond and they're ready to really give 100%. You can feel it in those battles.
Yeah, totally, man.
Yeah.
So what kind of impact do you think that the dance competitions have had on like the fandom at large?
I think the dance competitions have definitely been a central figure of today's dance, not dance fandom, but I mean dancer for community, because the dancer for community obviously is a very wide range of people, that do all sorts of different dances. But for the fandom at large, it's also been that central figure in terms of demonstrating the best of furry talents. There's other events that historically have been, other showcases of furry talent like masquerades or variety shows or comedy stand-ups, that kind of thing. But the new breed of talent that has really come out of dance competitions and showing that, we have so many talented people, and these are not just people that get up on stage and they look cute. These are people that are trained dancers. They practice just as hard as professional dancers do. Some of them do professionally battle, just like I did back in the day. So, it just shows that there is so much new talent in the community, and it's a really dynamic and, really fun way to show that, furries aren't just people that stand around in fursuits and look cute. The dance competition, you see fursuits that, are high quality, paired with high quality talent, and you get this, like, one of a kind experience where, you're seeing this crazy talented dancer in an animal costume, like, totally doing something that you would have never thought of before. So, from a public perspective, people that are outside of the fandom, viewing the fandom through the lens of a dance competition, I've shown a lot of my friends that are not furries, like, the furry dance comp, and they're like, this is like watching, like, America's Got Talent, this is like watching, World of Dance, but in, like, an animal costume, and it's pretty cool, because they see that, it's not just, it's not just whatever, it's like, this is actually something that is dynamic, it's fun, you can get into it, it's engaging, and overall, it's just amazing to see.
So do you have a message for anybody out there, whether young or old, who wants to get into the dance community?
Just try, a lot of people have come up to me and they always ask me, like, how do I get into floors? How do I get into dance comp? And I ask them, did you try? Did you try out? They always tell me, they can't because they haven't practiced, or that, they're injured in some way, shape, or form, or they don't have a fursuit or whatnot. And I always tell people that, dancing is not necessarily about what limits you have. It's about how you excel past those limits, whatever limits you have, whether you're young or old, whether you're able or disabled, right? Dance is about taking what you have and making the best of it and doing better than what your limitations, won't allow you to do, right? If, let's say, I'm old and, maybe I can't breakdance anymore because breakdancing is very intensive, maybe I won't breakdance, but maybe I can do some sort of other funk-related style and look just as good as, a young kid doing the same thing.
Yeah, and we've seen, like, people back at Anthrocon, I don't remember what was doing the fan dance?
Yeah, Aquarius.
Yeah. So, there's lots of different kinds of different forms and things you can do.
Exactly. Yeah. Not everything has to be, young, hip, fresh, and just high energy. There's definitely room for all different styles where you can do something slow, you can do something more traditional like ballet. That was a bit of like my stomach speaking. You can do some buffet and some ballet at the same time. But yeah, it's just whatever you are able to do. Take that and really just work on it, right? Practice. It's like there's no other way to get better. There's no secret recipe. There's no secret sauce. Just practice. The best dancers in the fandom that people consider, to be the top of the top, like Strobes, like Flinch, like, Atsu Fox. These guys practice like 3, 4, 5 times a week, and that's why they got to where they are now.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, man, for joining me. This has been an awesome conversation. I think I learned a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Happy to have this conversation.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming in and watching. I guess we'll see you later.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you later. Peace out.